Hello boys and girls, guess which knife are we gonna look at today? If you guessed this Vosteed, you're absolutely correct. Congratulations, this is a knife. It's a first Chinese-made knife I'm gonna take a look at on this channel. I don't know if it's a special occasion, but it's an occasion. You can see Vosteed on the blade here. And on the other side, it's got the blade steel, which is 14C28 and Swedish Sandvik steel. Blue thumb wheel. So thumb wheel is serving a couple purposes. One of them is obviously for the opening of the knife. When you open like this, right? The same as the thumb stud. However, you can also use it as a thumb rest. Provides some real estate for that purpose. So about this knife, it's really good looking. That's one thing that really, the first thing that strikes you as you look at this, the design. This design is really punching above the weight class of this knife, because it's a budget steel. And it's not cheap for what it is. It's actually expensive. This one was purchased for $75 at the store. MSRP is $84 for this. And you can find various online retailers for around $70. So it is, it's a decent chunk of money. However, the design is reminiscent of more expensive knives. However, it's more expensive than the sum of its parts. It's G10 scales, it's 14C28N, which is a really good budget steel, but still a budget steel, being the keyword there. And so the design might be appropriate for a much more expensive knife, but the sum of its parts are appropriate for a less priced knife, maybe like $40 to $50 range. So there's that. If you like it, you'll buy it. You'll be happy with it. There's nothing wrong with any of the components. The 14C28 steel, even though it's a budget steel, it's a great steel. It's got lots of toughness, decent edge retention, all those things. It's pretty good for the stainlessness as well. Now, the specs of this knife are a little peculiar to me. First of all, the name of it is Talarurus. Talarurus means it's named after a dinosaur of sorts. It doesn't look like that dinosaur. Just look it up. It's I don't know why it's named that, but that's what it is. It's a unique name anyway. And the length of this blade is 3.03 inches. And I'm not sure why it's just above the 3-inch mark by that tiniest margin, because if it was just under 3 inches, it would pass in some jurisdictions where you cannot have a blade over 3 inches. So yes, Kitty. Basically, I'm not sure about this decision to to make this blade of this length. Are they married to this design that much that you cannot shorten it by 4 hundredths of an inch, to make it compliant in lots and lots of jurisdictions who favor the under 3-inch blade? Now, the blade shape is pretty interesting. It's, as they call, modified ship's foot. In this case, it's heavily modified, as you might say. Some might even call it reverse tanto, because if you look at it upside down, that does look a little bit like a tanto blade, where the tanto part would be the one that's not the blade part but the other part. Anyway, so that's why the reverse tanto designation exists, because you just look at it upside down and it kind of looks like a tanto, which this one does in a way. So anyway, some call it modified ship's foot, some may say reverse tanto. It's got a deep carry pocket clip. However, again, the deep carry pocket clip doesn't sit that deep. again, that's an interesting decision on the engineering design part. On the other side, you can see that they kind of made this insert here to cover the place where the deep carry pocket clip would go, so you can reverse it to the other side, and you will have a tip carry, tip up carry for left or right hand carry. Now, it's an axis lock knife, so it's they took a page from Benchmade's books, and of course Benchmade doesn't own the rights to this anymore because of the 20-year limit has passed, so now anyone can make knives like this, and they do. It marks easily, but like any knife marks easily. So, and now a lot of companies are doing this. They're not calling it axis lock necessarily. Each company has its own name for it. Now, as far as the rest of the constructions, they're pretty hefty metal liners, stainless steel liners that go all the way through to the end. They're kind of hefty. Now, you can see that the blade is chunky, right? But it's not overpowering, like where it's like you have to, like, this is the middle of the weight section here, so it's balanced right now, and that's due to these really chunky liners that go all the way through. They're kind of hefty. They are skeletonized a little bit, not too heavily. They could be way more skeletonized without compromising on the function, which are not. But that will definitely get to sturdiness, but it doesn't get it to be too lightweight because of that. Besides white G10, this knife also has green, black, blue versions. Depending on what you like, I guess the accents are also different colors. Like this is this scheme where you have like blue and white and stainless steel colors, and there's a little play on colors in the other versions. Overall length is 7.18 inches or 182 millimeters. A blade width is 1.01 inches or 2.5 millimeters. That's kind of a lot. It's a thickish blade, I would say. Flat grind, well, it's almost all the way up, but it's a little bit, there's a little bit of the grind over there on top, but it's almost all the way a flat grind over here. Set-in blade, and the HRC Rockwell hardness is 60 plus minus 2, which means it could be 58 or it could be 62. For this steel, 62 is absolute highest it can ever be. And I guess at that point it might suffer from being a little brittle. You know how you get more edge retention or hardness and less toughness as a result. So that's one of those situations. I would probably be okay with 58 rather than 62 for this one. Handle length is 4.16 inches or 105 millimeters, and that would be just a closed length of this knife. And like I said, handle material is G10. In this case, it's white. However, there are other versions available. The weight is 3.62 ounces, which is kind of a lot, like looking at the way the market is right now. So this is not necessarily, the lightweight nature is not their goal. Their goal may be to have something more substantial in your hand, which is okay. Some people will probably like that. It's 102 grams, 102.6 grams. Actually, the lock type, they just call the crossbar lock, which is the generic designation for this lock. And instead of like the bronze bearings, like some of the Benchmade and some other knives have, they have cage ceramic ball bearings. Keep that in mind. So that would be something like Benchmade has on the the narrows. Some people like that, some people don't like that, depending on what kind of use you're expecting to get from your knife. Some people think that bearings are more finicky and they may get dirty a little easier, and then they require service, disassembly, all that stuff. So it's a manual knife, and I wish it was like just under 3 inches. That would help it pass a lot of the in jurisdictions that are otherwise they you cannot get with over 3-inch knives. This thumb disc is actually made from aluminum, it's not steel. Everything else I understand is stainless steel. And the designer of this knife is you. So when I was reading about Vosteed company, it's everywhere it says that it's a professional pocket knife making company founded in 2021, which is just like 3.5 years ago or something, just over 3 years ago, by Johnny and you. On their website, on the official website, it just says Johnny and you. And I'm not sure what that means, but the designer of this particular knife is Yu, Y-U-E. That's a Chinese person, I guess. And their motto of the company is stay sharp, stay wild. So they have this idea where they collaborate with users to create their products, right? They have this lively Facebook group, and I guess you can leave comments. Also on their website, they say, talk to us, So I'm just going to read from the website. It says, Vosteed is committed to being the bridge between designers, makers, and enthusiasts. Vosteed is founded on the core belief of stay sharp, stay wild. That's not a belief, that's a slogan. It cannot be a belief. With our unshakable dedication to unwavering passion, we're determined to make the best products with you. So they're trying to kind of make it look like they are inviting you to collaborate with them, and they will put your ideas into motion, right? So one idea is don't make a blade that's 3.03 inches long. I mean, like, what's the reason for that? Like, you're making it for American market. I live in a place where if it was just under 3 inches, I could take it just anywhere. And with the way it is right now, there are certain places I cannot go. So it says here, I'm just reading from their website, Johnny and you founded Vosteed in 2021. Who is, like why don't they have last names, right? It is based on the idea of making great products with our collaborators and users. So I guess, I mean, the designer is you, there are no users. But I guess they listen to you. Tell them it's under 3 inches. So at Vosteed, we treat everyone as our family and friends. Okay, I mean that's a nice sentiment, no doubt about it. So if you buy Vosteed, you are their family and friends. We believe that our brand is a place where community starts. We hold honesty as our core business value. Okay, that's great. We not only highly value and appreciate your input and feedback, but also use them as a guide for our continuous improvement. That's a good message. There's nothing wrong with that. And then, as always with all these new knife companies, I'm kind of interested in how they operate, because it's a knife is a hobby. It's a lot of bucks. It's 75 in this case. It was a little bit of a discounted item at the time of purchase. The MSRP is 84. You can find it for around $70 to $75, but that's an expensive item. And I was curious about their warranty, and to be honest, it's not that great. And I just want to mention that right away. Recently I was reviewing Spyderco, and I was going off of what some other YouTuber said. It escapes what his name was, but he was saying once you disassemble those spider codes, you may lose your warranty. So there's a similar deal going on with this knife, and especially that it's got a ceramic caged ball bearings. If you disassemble this knife, you may lose its warranty. Also, I'm just going to read you from the website so that I'm not making stuff up. So it says, at Vosteed, we take pride in delivering high quality products that are designed to exceed your expectations. We understand that purchasing a product is an investment, but it's not in this case, I don't think. And that's why we offer a comprehensive warranty that covers your purchase against potential defects and malfunctions. And that's about all it covers for. So if it's got defects or malfunctions, let's say if it's like something is wrong with it, obviously wrong with it, that would be a defect, or it doesn't work, doesn't open or something, that's a malfunction, they will cover it. But everything else, it's not like the Benchmade or Buck. And when they say, we treat you like friends and family, Buck also tells you, once you buy a Buck knife, you are part of the family and we take care of our own. Buck will take care of you, it's your knife. They will, they will take care of you, and they have taken care of me. So I speak from experience. But in this case, it's not necessarily the same thing. So warranty coverage, Vosteed guarantees that the knives will remain free from defects in material and workmanship, right? The warranty will be valid within the product's life, and you are required to be the original owner of the knife. Now, I'm not the original owner of this knife, and I don't even know how you can prove that you're original owner. You would have to have a receipt of purchase, right? Again, it's not let's say, Buck or Leatherman or Benchmade. Sorry, my knowledge is limited. But those three, it doesn't matter. You can find it in a ditch somewhere. You can find Leatherman multi-tool like this one in a ditch. It might be rusted, a blade might be missing. You send it in, as long as it's under 25 years old, right? Because Leatherman is 25-year warranty. No questions asked. You don't have to prove that you are the original owner. With this thing, you have to prove you are the original owner. That's very limiting. And then we will do our best to figure out the best resolution for you. That's their warranty promise. Warranty limitations. So right after that, we go into limitations. So the warranty may not cover certain types of damage, such as damage caused by misuse, accidents, neglect, or unauthorized repairs. Unauthorized repairs, right? Broken tips are usually associated with improper use, which is usually not under warranty. So once again, if you break a tip, you're on your own. They just explicitly, they stated over there on the website. When I broke a tip on my Benchmade, this one, right? I'm not the original owner of this knife. I broke a tip. I sent this in. They gave me two options. I could replace the blade for a fee, but instead, for absolutely free, they just grinded up a new edge for me. And you cannot tell this one from the original. It looks exactly like the original. It also had broken scales over here, which they replaced for free. I also was experimenting with some screws I ordered online from China, and they asked me if I want to replace them with the originals from Benchmade, and I did. I wanted that, so they just replaced those for me for free. They did all the service, and the broken tip issue is resolved. You cannot tell that this had a broken tip. Now with this one, you're gonna be on your own. Just keep that in mind. If you I keep reading from the website. If you modify or alter the knife in any way, the warranty might be voided, right? So once again, when I had these screws over here, which I was experimenting, that would void the warranty in Vosteed's case. It did not do that in Benchmade's case. So keep that in mind. That's what you get with the product. That goes into your decision to buy it or not buy it. If warranty does not cover wear and tear that is considered normal over the course of regular use, which is fine, I guess, failure to properly clean, maintain, or care for the knife might void the warranty. So in order to clean these ceramic ball bearings, you have to take the knife apart, right? But if you take it apart, that voids the warranty. And I'm just gonna get to that a little later. Warranty is not transferable to another person, right? So if you buy it on a secondary market, or if you want to sell this knife to somebody else, you understand that you're selling it without warranty at this point, but the warranty doesn't cover much anyway. So if you decide to sell it, give away the knife. And lastly, disassembling the knife might void the warranty, as it could lead to improper reassembly or damage. Oh my God. So again, a company that doesn't trust you to do what you want with the knife that you bought with your hard-earned $75. I honestly don't like that, and that's why I would not buy this knife myself. However, going back to the what it is, it's a good-looking knife with good components for what it is, and you might still want to do it if you like it. I mean, the parts are there. While staying on the topic of this knife, you might want to ask if I think that 14C28N is a good steel, and I think it is. It's a wonderful steel, marvelous steel, but you have to be aware that with any steel, the best results are achieved by careful heat treating, careful processing, all those things, and it all gets down to the quality control of particular company that's doing that. And I have no reports from the field when it comes to this knife, but the steel itself is excellent. So if you're a knife user or knife maker, you probably heard about this steel. The company is called Sandvik. It's a Swedish company, Sandvik Steels. And basically they developed this steel at the request of Kershaw knives. There was a different steel which didn't have as much edge retention, had different characteristics, and then they wanted to increase the edge retention and stainlessness, whatnot, and toughness, and they did that, and they created this absolutely amazing, like, it's a budget steel, but it's a great steel. It's got really good characteristics to it for the price. It's got 0.62% of carbon, which is okay. It's not necessarily too much. Like, VG10 steel has about twice as much carbon, and VG10 would have a little more edge retention, however, lower toughness. This steel is really tough, which I like. It's got 14% of chromium. Once again, that's not necessarily the highest percent of chromium, like VG10 has 15.5%, and VG10 would be more stainless, but 14 is enough. Anything over 12% is considered as stainless steel. It's got 0.11% nitrogen, improved strength and edge retention. It's got 0.6% of manganese, which increases hardness and brittleness. Hardness, edge retention, there you go. 0.2% silicon, that's improved strength. Strength is related to toughness. And this steel is very tough when everything is done properly. 0.025% of phosphorus, which is not a lot, but that increases strength, that increases toughness. Once again, this steel is very tough. And 0.01% of sulfur, which is minuscule percent, but it does increase machinability, which is important for steels. This steel is actually very easy to machine. It doesn't go hard on your tools. It's easy to sharpen, and that's what you want. So the chemical composition, it's allows this to be anywhere from 55 to 62 HRC. 62 is pretty hard, as you know. It's a very respectable number up there. So is 55. 55 in physics is considered a very, very hard steel, you know. Of course, we're kind of spoiled in knife community. For us, 55 is nothing, which is fine. We should be spoiled for all the money we invest into this art or craft, however you want to phrase it. So when you compare it to other steels, it's very closely resembles the AS8 steel. AS8 is from Japan. This is from Sweden. And when you compare it to VG10, this would have less edge retention but more toughness. When you compare it to S30V, it is actually pretty closely comparable to that. It goes toe to toe in toughness with S30V, which is impressive. Of course, it's lacking some edge retention, and of course, you will lack something when you're going against one of the premium expensive steels, and that's to be expected. Which again, it's not nothing to sneeze at. When you compare this to like our budget steel in United States, the 420HC, the one that Buck uses very successfully and gets really high edge retention out of it. Buck Boss heat treatment gets 420HC steel from 57.5 to 58.5 numbers. Those are very respectable. The edge retention in 420HC would be a little lower, but the toughness might be a little higher than this. Corrosion resistance, ease of sharpness, all that is about the same. All that is about the same. And people do say that it is kind of comparable to 420HC. However, some people like one over the other, depending on what you do with it and what your experience might be. It's pretty hard to find out who you and Johnny are, the founders of this company. Nowhere it even mentions their last names. I was able to find out the last name of you. His last name is Dong, and he's a PhD. He's a co-founder of a Vosteed company. The way I found it is I went to LinkedIn, to LinkedIn profile of Vosteed, and that's where his last name was mentioned. But Johnny, I could not find. I don't have a premium LinkedIn account, so I wasn't able to dig too deep. Maybe if you guys are subscribed to the Facebook page, you know a little better. Now, if you would like to do some size comparisons, let's do that, because we have a bunch of knives over here. Actually, right away, I want to say that this knife is kind of size-wise, it is a bug out, but it's heavier, twice as heavy actually. It's very heavy compared to bug out, but bug out is the perfect size. It's got just over 3 inches blade. It's got this just over 4 inches handle. Everybody likes a bug out, and that's what this blade is kind of playing at. It's also the same size lengthwise as Mini Adira. Once again, Mini Adira is about the same as bug out in overall dimensions. However, it's more hefty. Adira is wider, and wider each way you wanna slice it, no pun intended. And Adira is lighter than Vosteed. Vosteed is much heavier because Adira's liners, they're not all the way through. They're cut out. All these parts are plastic. It does feel hefty in the hand, but it's not as heavy. This one feels hefty and heavy, at least heavier than Adira. Now, when you compare it to some other knives, let's get the Crater out. Crater is smaller, but we still owe it the respect it's owed. Let's compare it to to the tactical bug out, which is a bailout. Bailout is larger in every way. Larger in every way. And then if you want to compare it to Mini Adamas, again, Mini Adamas somehow is about the same as Mini Adira, and it looks like Mini Adira took some design cues from Mini Adamas, but it's just a touch smaller. It is a touch smaller. So when you compare Mini Adira to this Vosteed, they are the same in length. And then when you go to Mini Adamas seems a little larger, right? It doesn't have like the, the handle which kind of cradles your arm, over here. So you will have some of this. I actually don't find much use for this finger choil over here, which, if I feel like I can cut a finger on that edge over there. But if you have maybe smaller fingers or something, that's actually a useful place for your fingers to be, because you can get, a thumb rest over here on this disc, and a finger choil, you can get it up to there and do some work with this. But for me, the most usable position would be this, and maybe a Gorilla Grip or something like that. And it's not that comfortable for my case. It's it's a little lacking. But if you can get if you can get some use out of this finger choil, then it's a totally different situation. But I just don't feel very comfortable with this whole thing, and it's not. I mean, the way it's looking, there might be some place for a finger there, but it just not for me. And in fact, I just poked myself where I wouldn't want to do that, regularly, or if I'm working, that's definitely not where I want my finger to be. Probably here it's more comfortable for me. All right, so that's a quick look at this knife. Really good looking. That's what really jumps out at you. The striking design, really good design, really nice steel. Made in China. So if that's something that you like, a little heavy. It's probably one of the heaviest knives on this table. But yeah, some people like that heft. So if that's you, this might be the knife for you. Thanks for watching.